During family dinner with my parents, I got a text message from an unknown number. "Get up and leave, now, don't say anything to your parents." I decided to listen, and found out this. The next day, the police were knocking at their door. The weird part is how normal everything felt right before it happened. I wasn't expecting hugs or warmth or anything dramatic, but I also wasn't expecting what actually came, which, in hindsight, is probably the worst kind of setup. When things look normal, your guard drops, and that's when it gets you. I walked in, and my mom was already calling out from the kitchen, "We're just about to serve, come in, come in!" Like I was late to something festive. My dad stood up from the table when I walked into the dining room, half a second too slow, like he wasn't sure if we were hugging these days or just nodding. We nodded. Classic. My sister was already seated, scrolling on her phone with the kind of casual indifference she'd perfected in her teens. She looked up just long enough to register me, then went back to whatever version of attention she was reserving for the rest of the world. That was fine. I hadn't come here to impress anyone. The table was set, my chair was pulled out. There was a glass already waiting for me. Cranberry juice, like always. Not spiked with holiday cheer, not festive in the Pinterest sense, just juice, which I used to like. My mom smiled at me like we were playing a game where we pretended to be close. "You still like cranberry, right?" I nodded. I hadn't drunk it in months, but I wasn't about to start a conversation about that. We sat. They served. The food was standard. Chicken, potatoes, some kind of green bean thing my dad still claimed to like, even though everyone knew he didn't. The conversation was light. "How's work? Still living in the same apartment?" "Traffic's been awful this week," I answered. I smiled. I even laughed when my sister mentioned a coworker who got stuck in the revolving doors at her office. Not because it was funny, but because I knew how to play this version of myself. The quiet one, the steady one, the one who didn't make things difficult. Somewhere in the middle of my dad's rant about road construction, my phone buzzed in my lap. I checked it under the table without thinking. The message was short. No name, no punctuation, except for the full stop at the end of each sentence like someone trying too hard not to sound panicked. "Get up and leave. Now, don't say anything to your parents." I stared at it, then read it again. The room was still going on without me. My mom was nodding along to whatever my dad was saying. My sister was chewing. It was a perfectly normal family dinner, and I was apparently supposed to flee from it like it was a crime scene. I didn't move, not at first. There were a dozen things it could have been. A prank, a wrong number, a scam. The start of some elaborate psychological experiment I hadn't consented to, but it wasn't any of those. I don't know how I knew. I just did. "I'll be right back," I said, pushing back from the table. "Just need the bathroom." No one questioned it. No one even looked up. I took my phone and walked upstairs, because the upstairs bathroom had a door that closed all the way and locked without jamming, and because if anyone was going to have a private conversation in this house, it wasn't going to happen on the first floor. I locked the door, sat down on the edge of the bathtub, and stared at the message again. Then I hit call. It rang once. Then a voice. "You're still there? Who is this?" "It's Mark." Mark. My sister's boyfriend. Or ex-boyfriend. It was hard to keep up. "What the hell is going on?" His voice was low, tight, like he was standing somewhere he wasn't supposed to be. "You need to leave. Just get up, walk out, don't drink anything. Just go. Don't drink the juice." My mouth was dry. I hadn't touched the juice. Not yet. "Why?" "I can't. Just trust me. Please." "What is this?" I asked. "Why are you even... What's going on?" He hesitated. "Please, just get out of there." "Not until you tell me why." He said something then. I didn't respond. I sat there for a while after the call ended, long enough to feel the cold from the bathroom tiles through my clothes. long enough to know I had a choice, and I'd already made it. Quick note, this story is copyrighted by the YouTube channel Tales Monkey. Reposting, revoicing, or tweaking it without permission is still copyright infringement. Thank you for respecting original creative work. Now back to the story. Being the older sister didn't come with a ceremony, just responsibility. Quiet, assumed, and endless. We were 3 years apart. When we were kids, our parents gave us $5 a week. I saved mine. She didn't. A few days in, she'd spent it all on gum or glitter pens or whatever elementary school's economy was built on, and then she'd look at me. That's when the grown-ups stepped in. She doesn't have any left. You still do. Don't be selfish. That's how it started. Not a rule, just a pattern. If I saved, I was expected to share. If she overspent, I was expected to fix it. In high school, I got a part-time job. Just a couple weekends at a pharmacy, enough to buy my own jeans without an argument. My sister didn't work. She was younger, and no one expected her to. But if she wanted anything extra, guess who got nudged? She really wants to see that movie. She doesn't have her own money yet. You do. They still covered the essentials. But anything beyond that became my problem. When I left for college, things calmed down. I was busy, broke, and 2 states away. My sister was still in high school, and for a while it felt like I'd bought myself some space. Then I graduated, got a junior developer job, entry-level pay, basic benefits, barely enough to cover rent and loan payments, but to my parents it was a windfall. The requests started slow. Could you help with her enrollment deposit? Books are so expensive these days. She's just really stressed. She'd just started college, studying something vaguely finance-related. She didn't work, didn't budget, didn't ask me directly. That was always the pattern. She'd ask them, and they'd ask me. And at first, I said yes, because I thought now that I was earning, helping would feel lighter. It didn't. The more I made, the more they wanted, and not once did it feel like mine. Then there was the alcohol. In my early 20s, I learned, badly, that my body doesn't handle it. Half a drink, and I'm out. Once, I blacked out from 2 sips of wine. Since then, nothing, not even champagne at weddings. My family knew, but they never really accepted it. You can have a little. Don't be so uptight. It's not like you're allergic. I'd say no. They'd roll their eyes, like I was just being difficult. It wasn't about the drink. It was about how little I registered when they wanted something. A couple years into my job, I got promoted to mid-level. Not huge, but a real step up. I called my parents. My mom said, "That's great. So how much are you making now?" Followed by, "Do you think you could help your sister with her study abroad semester? She's so excited." No congratulations. Just the usual. Ask, expect, repeat. So I stopped saying yes. I didn't make a speech about boundaries. I just stopped. No more just this once. No more treating my savings like a group project. Maybe I'd still cover a coffee, but I wasn't her sponsor anymore. Then came the silence. No calls, no texts, just the eerie quiet of a family sulking at full volume. A few weeks later, the silence broke. "Your sister needs help. It's serious." The number? $12,000. They wouldn't say what for. Just that she needed it, that I could afford it, that I was her sister. I said no. They kept pushing, so I called her directly. That's when I got the truth. She'd been gambling, lost big, owed money she couldn't pay back. She worked in finance now, and if anyone found out, her career was over. It's not just this job. No one hires someone with a gambling record in finance. If it gets out, I'm done. I asked if this had happened before. She didn't answer. I didn't need her to. I told her no. Not later. Not less. No. "I've helped you my entire life," I said, "but I'm not covering this. Not again. Not ever." She said I was cold, said I didn't understand. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I finally didn't want to. They cut me off after that. 3 weeks of nothing. Then the slow return, a forwarded joke from my dad, a photo of the backyard from my mom, a TikTok from my sister with no comment, and finally, we're having dinner. Just us. Hope you can come. No mention of the debt, no apologies, just dinner. I told myself they'd accepted it, that they finally understood where my line was, and when they invited me to dinner, I said yes. Mark didn't sound like himself. His voice was flat, quiet. But underneath, there was something else. Something clenched. "It's the juice," he said. "I think they spiked it. Alcohol, maybe. Maybe something else. I don't know for sure, but I know they're counting on you passing out." The room around me was completely still. White tile, soft fan hum, distant sounds of forks on plates downstairs. I didn't say anything. "Why?" Another pause. "They want to unlock your phone, use your fingerprint. They think you'll be out cold, that they can send the money and you won't even remember it." Still nothing from me. Not yet. "How do you know this?" "I heard them. I wasn't supposed to." There was something in his voice then, like he was scared, like he couldn't believe he was saying it out loud. I ended the call. Not because I believed him entirely, not yet, but because I needed both hands. I didn't go back to the table right away. I stood at the bathroom sink and stared at myself. The face looking back didn't belong to me, not really. Too pale, too calm. I told myself to breathe. I checked my phone. Then I looked at the door. Thought about walking out, just leaving. But I didn't. I'm not wired that way. If they were going to do it, I wanted to see them do it. Everything looked the same when I came down. Chicken, forks, soft smiles. I walked back into the scene like I hadn't just learned something that changed everything. I went back to the table. I smiled. I picked up my fork. I did one more thing before I came out, but I'll come back to that later. My mom looked up. "Everything okay?" "Fine," I said. "Headache's gone." Her smile held a little too long. My dad's glance lingered. My sister didn't look up at all. They tried again with the drink. "You haven't touched this," my mom said, nudging the cranberry juice toward me. "It's going to get warm." "It's your favorite," my dad added. I didn't answer, just looked at it. It was bright red, sweet-looking, innocent. For a second I wondered if they were bluffing, if Mark had misunderstood, if this was just the old pattern again, pressure, guilt, some roundabout way to get me to open my wallet. But then I looked at their faces, my mom's too calm expression, the way my sister's fingers stayed poised just above her phone, like she was waiting for something. I picked up the glass, tipped it toward me, gave them a small smile. "Tastes like I remember," I said, and I took nothing in. Later, I asked about the noise. "Is that someone pulling into the driveway?" They all turned at once. I slid the glass under the table, tilted it, and let the juice spill into the carpet. Not all of it, just enough to make it believable. It soaked in fast. No splash. Just a stain no one would see until much later. I wiped the rim with my napkin, set the glass down again, and sat up straight. Then I started acting. I didn't go full soap opera, just enough. Slower blinks, heavier limbs. My voice got quieter. I pressed a hand to my forehead. "Yeah, I don't know, just feel weird, tired." My mom leaned in. Her eyes were all softness and concern, like we were playing a new game now. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Just a bit woozy. I think I need to lie down for a minute." No one hesitated. They helped me to the couch like I was precious, like they were caretakers, not thieves. I lay down, closed my eyes, tried not to think about how fast my heart was beating. Just breathe. Even. Slow. Don't flinch. The couch cushion was warm under my shoulder. Someone draped a blanket over my legs, and then I heard it. "Is she asleep?" my mom whispered. "Yeah, she's out," my sister said. "Okay," my dad replied. Let's do this quickly. I heard the sound of my phone being picked up. Then, something worse. Fingers curling around my hand, my thumb being lifted, gently, but with purpose. My skin pressed against the sensor. A pause, then a faint vibration. Unlocked. There was something quietly horrific about it. The casual coordination, the fact that they didn't hesitate. They just did it. Okay, my sister whispered. We're in. More tapping, the sound of numbers being entered. Routing number, my dad said under his breath. She has everything saved. How much are we doing? My mom asked. Not all of it, my dad said. Just enough to settle it. Settle what? I kept my breathing steady. I kept my eyes closed. She won't even know, my mom said. If it goes through clean, she'll just think she transferred it herself. I told you, my sister said. She always blacks out after a drink. We just needed her to sleep through it. There it was, out loud, all three of them, together. A tap. A pause. It's asking for a code, my sister said. Code? My mom said. 2-step verification, my sister muttered. She changed it. My dad cursed under his breath. A soft, irritated sigh. Try another app. Tapping. Still tapping. Same thing. Everything's locked. They sat in silence for a second. Then my mom said, just put the phone back. They did. No apologies. No second guessing. No hesitation. I waited. Gave them space to sit down again. Reassure themselves. Then I opened my eyes. Sat up slowly. Blinked like someone just waking from a shallow nap. Sorry, I said. Don't know what that was. Felt like I blacked out for a sec. They looked at me like they didn't know what I was. You sure you're okay? My dad asked. Yeah, I said. I think I just need some fresh air. I picked up my phone, held it like nothing had happened, like it hadn't just been turned against me. Actually, I think I'm going to head home. I've got work early tomorrow. They nodded. No protest, no awkward offer to walk me out. Just a soft chorus of, thanks for coming. Get home safe. Let us know when you're back. Like we hadn't just crossed a line we couldn't come back from. At the door, we hugged, like we always did. My mom, my dad, my sister, one after another. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Habit, tradition, reflex. And as soon as it started, something cracked. My mom's perfume, my dad's jacket, my sister's hand brushing my arm. Normal things, familiar things, and all of them poisoned now. I felt it rise in my chest, this weight I didn't know how to carry. This is the last time, I thought. This is the last time I'm hugging them. After tonight, we don't come back from this. I almost cried. I didn't. But almost. I stepped back, smiled like I wasn't breaking open. Thank you for dinner, I said. They smiled. I opened the door, and I left. I didn't tell them what I knew. I didn't ask what they put in the glass. I didn't say a word. But before I walked out of the bathroom that night, I did exactly what they never counted on. I didn't block them from getting into my phone. I made it easy. Left the fingerprint access right where they expected it. What I did change was my bank security. I added 2-factor authentication. Not the easy kind, real verification, something they couldn't fake with my thumb. So when they tried to transfer money, the app would log the attempt, stop the transaction, and leave a trail. And then I set up the recording, not with some obvious red light or blinking dot. If they'd seen that, it wouldn't have worked. But I know how to run audio in the background. No notifications, no visible apps, nothing on the screen. That's the part they didn't get. I work in tech. I build systems for people who try to outsmart other people. And I knew exactly what they'd overlook. While they were unlocking my phone and trying to steal from me, they were recording themselves doing it. Every word, Every attempt, all of it. They thought I was unconscious, but the truth is, I was ahead of them before I even came back to the table. I drove to the police station like I was going to the grocery store. Not fast, not shaking, just steady. I parked, walked in, stood in line behind a guy asking about parking tickets, and then I told the woman behind the glass that I needed to report a crime. She asked what kind. "They drugged me," I said, "and tried to steal from me. I have the recording." She blinked. "Do you know who did it?" "Yes," I said, "my parents, and my sister." That's when she stopped blinking. They gave me a chair in a quiet room with an officer who didn't ask why I hadn't gone to the hospital, or why I wasn't crying. He just listened. I played the audio. He listened all the way through, then said, "Do you know what they were trying to do?" "Yeah," I said. "They wanted my money." I forwarded the file, showed the timestamps, walked him through the bank app logs. He nodded a lot, took notes, typed something slowly into a system that looked 10 years older than it should have been. "This is serious," he said. I shrugged. "Yeah, it was." He asked if I was okay, if I had somewhere to go, if I needed support. I told him I'd already left. It was the first time I'd ever filed a police report, but I didn't feel scared. Not anymore. 2 days later, my phone buzzed. 3 messages and a voicemail, all before lunch. The first one was from my mom. "Did you seriously report your own family?" Followed by, "What is wrong with you?" I didn't answer. My sister left a voicemail. Her voice was tight, small. "It was just a mistake. You made it worse than it had to be." My dad called next. I let it go to voicemail too. "You think the police will fix this?" he said. "You'll ruin everything. You don't do this to your own." I texted back once. "You drugged me. You tried to steal from me. That's not family. That's a crime." Then I blocked them. All of them. Mom, Dad, my sister, group chats, contacts, emergency bypasses. I changed my number, updated my will, froze my credit just in case. I thought cutting them off would hurt more, but it didn't. It felt like breathing again. They didn't fight the charges, not after the recording, not after the failed transactions lined up with the time-stamped audio, not after the detective said, "We can do this the easy way." Attempted fraud, biometric misuse, conspiracy, administering a substance without consent, all 3 of them, together. The recording said everything I didn't. They got probation, 1 year, fines, community service, a no-contact order, no jail time. But it stuck. I didn't reach out. I didn't ask what happened next. But word gets around. My cousin on my dad's side mentioned they'd sold the house. Something about debt, court costs, scraping together what was left. No one in the family was surprised, just quiet. As for my sister, I ran into her once, at a grocery store across town. She didn't see me. Or maybe she did and just kept facing the end cap like it had something to say. She was in a polo shirt and a vest, restocking paper towels, avoiding eye contact. Finance was a bad fit, I guess. I didn't say anything, just paid for my pasta and left. Her boyfriend? Gone. I heard that from a mutual friend. Not close, just someone who still follows everyone. Apparently he moved out a few weeks after the whole thing went public. Didn't make a scene, just packed and left. Some things don't need explanations. They explain themselves. And me? I don't get messages asking for help anymore. No family group chats. No sideways guilt disguised as obligation. I work, I sleep. I open my fridge and know everything in it was bought for me. By me. I thought cutting them off would feel brutal. It just felt clean. So what do you think? Did I go too far? Or not far enough? Comment below. Subscribe for more.